It's a tomato that grows. Thank you, Ping, for recording that. It's a tomato that grows in Naples, but San Marzano could be grown anywhere. You could grow them in your backyard. The difference is, and let me show you this. The difference is DOP, okay? DOP means that these are San Marzano tomatoes grown in Italy, okay? In a certain region. You guys see this DOP? And it's San Marzano tomato, Agro Sarnese Nocerino area. Now, you know if it's true, it's certified here, and it has a number. Every can of tomatoes, every jar from this area is numbered. So you know that it's really a San Marzano tomato grown from that area. And it's right here. You could see it outside of Naples in this little area. And that's volcanic soil. And that's why it's very different than some other tomatoes that you have. I took 2 jars out already. I'm making 3 jars, 3 cans. And basically all you do is just squeeze them with your hand to get them started. If you come over here and you see the garlic, I want to get the garlic started, but I don't want to burn the garlic. On another episode, I'll show you the different sauces. This is the simplest tomato sauce you can make. You could put this on pasta tonight. You could put it on raviolis, on anything. It's a really simple sauce. I don't put anything but olive oil, garlic, salt, and pepper. Okay? Face it away from you because you don't want to face it toward you because you could burn your face off as the oil comes flying at you. What you do is you cook it sort of rapidly for 5 minutes. Get it up. You guys hear Bean crying. Bean thinks I'm making steaks for him. He's quite excited. You keep an eye on that. Stay there for that. And once you get this, good. Once you get this where it starts to boil, then you put it low on the flame, and I put it in the back burner to let it sit there, and I'm going to use it a little while for the different kinds of pizzaiola that I have. I'll put the parsley at the end. Now, like I said, this is really simple. Next time, I'll show you when we do different sauces. Next time, I'll show you the one that has onions as a base, sometimes garlic, sometimes not. And that's a different kind of sauce. Sometimes I put the Holy Trinity, which is celery, carrots, and onions, and then I will actually puree it down. I do different kinds, but this is the simplest one and one you could use as a base in these different dishes. All right, now you can see it's starting to boil up. And then all we do is I'm going to put it on a back burner to keep it going. All right. That sauce is basically ready. I'm going to take some salt, pepper, and let that cook. That'll be ready in about 10, 15 minutes. If you cook this for 20 minutes, you could put it on anything. Now, if you're going to put it on pasta, what I recommend is at the end of 15, 20 minutes of it simmering, you put basil, lots of fresh basil in it. This is the same recipe if you have fresh tomatoes you get from your garden. And this is something that it's pretty easy to do and very, very versatile. You could do all sorts of sauces with it. All right, next. Now, we have the potatoes in the oven. I cooked a little spinach first. I wilted it, little garlic, salt and pepper, keep it really simple. Now I'm going to show you how to make 2 different kinds of bistecca pizzaiola and pollo pizzaiola. Pizzaiola, Italians have this wonderful way about describing food. This is the pizza maker's wife's steak is what it is. So basically when they come home, when the pizza maker comes home from a long day at the pizzeria, what does he have? He might want to have some steak, and they make it this style. It's called the style of the pizza maker. They also have another sauce called the puttanesca. Ben, do you know what that's about?
I do know what puttanesca is about. It
Okay,
has it has capers, it has olives, it has anchovies. I actually
and
really enjoy it. It's a little bit saltier.
it's spicy, and what it means is the prostitute's pasta.
So
That's
now I
literally
know
the
why you.
translation.
So was that some? Were you trying to be funny there?
No, that is
My wife,
actually
my
the
wife is literally standing next to me.
no, because Ben, you're a linguist. That's why I did it.
Oh yes. Oh, okay. Good save. You go into PR.
But it is funny. They have all sorts of things like that. Orecchietti, the type of pasta, means an ear, and it looks like a little ear, and that's why we call it. That's why it's called orecchietti. So these funny little things in Italy for stuff that I just wanted you to see. Important so far. I always use really good single. Again, DOP, the type of, because it's from a certain region and they only have olives from one region. If you look at the back, again, here you see there's a number on it. That tells you that this is an oil that was
Contest, are you
guaranteed.
cooking this?
How are you?
Is Matt following you? This is impressive.
Yeah, I think some people are following me, which is beautiful. All right. So the sauce
This
is
is
cooking
beautiful,
right there.
Chad.
Like I said, thank you, kid. If you want to make this at home to put on pasta, this is a dish you can do pasta for everyone, and then next to that you can make the steak or the chicken. Now, the steak is here in Italy. This is prime USDA. This is bone-in ribeye. In Italy, a lot of times this is a quick meal that they put on top the panini, and they'll take a very thin piece of steak, a top round, and they'll do it that way. I like it much better. It's much more substantial here, not a snack, but a dinner when you do it this way. It's also very versatile. I know this day and age, a lot of people don't like meat, and so what I've done is I've made a chicken too. You could even do. Now, this, I'm going to show you. I left one untouched, the chicken. And what you want to do is pound it from the center out, because otherwise, if you just put a chicken breast in, it'll be very, very tough. So you pound it from the center out. Okay. From there, you take the chicken and you take the nerves off it if you can, right? Now, the one thing you have to do, which is a funny thing you do, but where there's nerves, if there's still nerves, you do this with steak too. You put a little cut in it. This way it doesn't fold, it doesn't curl up when you cook it. All right. These are the two different sort of, let's just say, the bases that we have. Now, we bring them over here, and I'm going to salt and pepper both of these. Sometimes I won't salt steak till after, but in this case, it's in a sauce. So I salt and pepper both of them. This is kosher salt, and the kosher salt is coarser, and you can control it. It's not as salty as when you have like if you have a regular table salt. There's no iodine in it, so you're not going to get that as a nutrient. So there, that's the kosher salt. All right. Same thing now. I get some pepper. Now, as I said to you, they make this very differently in Italy in different regions. But this is a very fast, quick dinner, weeknight dinner. Now, I'm going to get a couple of pans out. I'm going to use cast iron pans because they have really thick bottoms. And They will really thick bottoms, and that's good because you're not gonna burn things. You can control the heat a lot better. I put them on medium high. This is important. Always get the pans hot first. Okay. I don't know if you recorded this part, but always have wine in your hands when you're cooking. All right, always. I don't want to see any of you out there. Contos, if you're cooking this with me, make sure you have a glass of wine in your hand. Who else is cooking out there? Katie's cooking too? Nice. Katie, you can have a beer. Beer's fine too. All right, now get the pans hot. You want to get the pans hot first because the oil then will lay on it and make a barrier. And then when you put the steak on it, it won't, or the chicken, it won't stick to the pan. So always get the pans hot first before you do them. I got them both on like medium high. And let's see what we got in here. Okay, I got our potatoes in there. I'm just getting them brown and cooked over the top. Okay, now, how do we make pizzaiola? The first things first, I'm going to use your olive oil. Look at me, Adrian. Atletico Madrid olive oil. How sweet is that? This is a tribute to you, my friend. Okay, olive oil in the pan. And let it get nice and hot. I need another because I have to pull them out. So that's all right. Just keep an eye on those. Sorry about that. I left you for a second. All right. So when you see the olive oil start to shimmer a little bit, you know that it's ready. I don't know if you can catch a good glimpse of that when it starts to shimmer. You could test it with a little bit of water. See, it starts to spit. All right. So what you want to do is get a nice, you want to call what the French call a Maillard effect, which is to create a crust and to leave a fond. A fond is the goop in the bottom of the pan that will, when you break it down with some wine and sauce, will become very tasty. It actually brings out the sugar in the meats. Look at those steaks. I have bone in. If you can get bone in, it's probably better. The bone gives a little more flavor. If you take a look at the sauce in the back, whoop, my cameraman is quite good. I've married her for 30 years, but she dropped it. What happened here? Ping, how we doing, kid? Can you guys see this? There it is.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Now we can.
Unmuted.
Now we're good. We're good.
There we go. We still keeping her, guys? That's the sauce in the back. And we're doing a crunch on these, hopefully doing a nice crunch on these steaks and chicken. You hear that? That's so beautiful. cameraman just took my wine.
I think she's allowed, Chaz.
You think so? Nick, you're the one that always takes care of her, so
I think she's earned it.
he's earned it. All right. So this is a really simple dish. We're almost done. It'll take another 10 minutes. We'll be completely finished.
For questions.
Does anybody have any questions so far?
How
Yes,
long
sir.
for the steaks? For?
Okay. Go ahead. How long the steaks, I heard, right? I apologize because I can't actually see the person who's asking the question. So the steaks, you don't want to overcook the steaks. You really don't. Or the chicken breast, right? So now I'm going to pull these out right now. So a steak like this, about 3/4 of an inch, probably you're going to cook it 1 minute on each side like we're doing now. And then we're going to cook it maybe 4 minutes aside when we have the 4 minutes aside when we have the stuff in it. You could always put it back in a pan, right? That's the most important thing to remember. So now I'm taking this off, putting it over here. Got a little brown on it. I'd like to get a little more, but that's okay. But here, what's in here is called the fond. So now, taking the steaks out. And the chicken out. Now this is where you make the magic happen here, okay? Now, these are, I'm going to turn them down a bit to medium. So you had them at medium to medium high. I'm going to put a little more olive oil in each of these. You have to let the go Madrid olive oil. Adriana, are you crying? Any more questions first?
I have a question, Charlie. Charlie, I have a question.
Yes,
Uh,
ask me.
a question about the difference between the oil, Italian olive oil and Spanish olive oil. Can you feel a big?
It's fair to say.
What do you think
think
that is better? For example, the Spanish olive oil or the Italian olive oil that usually is mixed with another countries? Thank you.
No, that's just not true. You see, if you were listening the first time, I told you DOP. You see that part of Sicily? That's where all the olives are from that part of Sicily. If you look at the back, your point's the right one. If you read in the back, sometimes they'll say olive oil from Greece, Spain, Morocco, Italy. You don't want those. This one here is DOP. It's controlled the actual province where it's grown. So I don't think if you buy high quality olive oil, Italian or Spanish or French, to me it's important that you get high quality. And this is going to sound stupid, but honestly, it usually reflects in the price. And the more the olive oil is from one region or one farm, the more expensive it'll be. Okay? You look for certain things. You look for stone ground, extra virgin olive oil, and if you can, get it from one farm. Now, what I've done here is I've lowered a little bit. Now, the pizzaiola is done differently in different areas. But in a general sense, I'll tell you what the difference is. I already told you a little bit before that if you look at pizzaiola, this is the basic recipe, but sometimes they'll make you with a thinner version of a steak, sometimes thicker, sometimes with chicken, as I'm doing here. But this part is all consistent. You put the olive oil in with the garlic cloves. I put a couple cloves in. I don't smash the garlic or cut it. I find that it's much less offensive if you do it that way. A lot of people who say they don't like garlic, when they eat at my house, they won't taste the garlic. They'll just get the sense of it, right? Then what you want to do is you want to bloom what they call bloom the oregano. Now, this only get Greek or Italian oregano, okay? Sorry about that, Adrian. You put the oregano in the olive oil in the hot pan. And this creates what they call, it brings out its flavors. The second thing that I do is, these are from my garden. These are the hot peppers. These are from New Jersey. And some pizzaiolas don't have it, but I like putting the hot pepper in. Who doesn't like hot pepper, right? So I take these. Okay. There you go. And I put the hot pepper in each of them. All right. I put a little more in the beet. Contos, are you doing this?
Charlie, it's been.
All right. Now.
We are.
Go ahead. Question, kid.
I'm on baby duty.
All right.
Charlie, I have a question.
Now. Go ahead, kid.
Are you self-taught, or did you learn this in school? All this stuff.
No, everything here. I'm not a chef. Not even close. Everything here is learned by reading and doing. But since I'm 60 years old, and my mom taught me a few things, since I'm 60 years old, I've read a lot and seen a lot. What you want to do now is, remember I said there's a fond under here? I put the wine in because what you want to do is break up all those nice juicy pieces of meat and fat, and same thing on the chicken side. You're also now mixing in, excuse me. You're also mixing in the wine and the red pepper, which you can see the red peppers hitting me right in the throat. I like putting some more wine in. I don't like being bashful with the wine. Some people say you only need half a glass. I don't agree with those people.
Hey, Charlie, what is the temperature of the stovetop right now? Is it still medium high?
Medium high. I brought it down to medium when I first put the peppers in and the oregano. I don't want it to burn. If the oregano burns, it'll be bitter. So I don't want that. Okay? Now I put it to medium high to burn off some of the alcohol. So far, so good, everyone? Any other questions?
Yes, chef.
Yes. Yes, Nikki.
Charlie, aside from the garlic in the pan, what else did you put in there? We're just a little behind on that step.
Okay. What you put in here is oregano.
Yep.
Dried oregano or fresh oregano. I use dried oregano. And you put in hot peppers.
And the wine.
And then I put in the white wine. Okay, so it's you put in first the meat, you sear it on each side. Then with the meat, you end up pulling the meat out and put it separately. Then I put in fresh olive oil. I put in peppers and oregano. That then will bloom, as I say, right? It blooms means it brings out the flavor of the peppers. You can see I'm choking on the peppers, so it's hitting me right in the throat. The garlic's in there, just cooking gently. I don't slice it. I end up pulling it out a lot of times or leave it on the side. Okay? Oregano, about 2 tablespoons of oregano in each one.
Charlie, and the meat right now is in the oven or is outside? Is it outside?
It's outside. It's right here. Show that. Thanks, Care. There's the meats outside. I seared it and then put it there. Same thing with the chicken. Okay?
Red pepper flakes okay to use?
Yes. Red pepper flakes are perfect, Molly. Perfect. So right now, everything has been homemade. Nothing's been, processed. I don't get a jar. But you see, it's very simple ingredients. And to Adrian's point, I think that it's most important that when you get a certain type of olive oil or or even in this case, a white wine. The white wine should be a crisp, dry white wine. I use a Pinot Grigio here, but you can use another kind. I would just recommend when you use the, as you say in Spain, aceite de oliva or the olio de oliva in Italian, try to get a good quality olive oil because it'll make a difference when it's done. Now that I've taken off a little bit of the alcohol, well, all the alcohol probably, but you can still see that it's a nice little pool in there. Now I take my sauce that's been in the back, beautifully cooking. You guys can see that. And now I put the sauce in. About. Now what you're forming here is a nice base. You guys seeing this? You liking this? Now, Adrian, this is something I'm going to tell you. This is a secret of Italian cooking. What are the three colors in here right now? The basil, the garlic, tomatoes. The Italian flag, my friend. Only Carell's allowed to say, wait a minute, that's the Mexican flag. But it's not. The big difference is the food tastes better in Italy. Okay, so what I'm doing here is making a beautiful little base. Okay, now, I think it was Betsy asked, right, about the heat. At this point, you want to put them on medium, if you can. Okay? Both should be medium. And now I put if it's chicken in one, I put chicken in. And the other one, I get the meat. Okay? I want to lower it a little bit to medium, as I said.
Sauce. Like, I can't put all the meat in here.
Right.
Okay.
Make
Then-
the sauce and put it on the meat later. Then I have to cook.
Yeah, what you could do is put the meat in now on one. You can't fit them both in, right? Is that what you're saying to me?
Alana, Matt, you guys are not on mute.
It's okay. Can you fit one in? What do you have, baby pans?
We have 4. We doubled the recipe.
That's why. Yeah.
Okay, well, get 2 pans out then.
Yeah, well, I don't have a nice stove like you over there, Chaz.
Okay, sorry. Don't get angry at me. I love you.
We love
Yeah.
you. This
Right?
is beautiful.
Caroline, can you possibly wash these 2 out? This one here and this one here? Okay. Now, I think chicken would benefit from, I like putting capers and olives in the chicken one. I don't with the meat because I honestly think it's better that the meat flavor comes out, especially, as I said, the secret of Italian cooking is just giving a little bit of love, all kidding aside, and a little bit of love and then taking your time with things. But the most important thing is the ingredients. So I've had the steak on, what, about a minute or so? Alana, you could do it in different stages, kid. You could do 2 and then another one. Put more sauce in if you want. Or you could even just put water in to extend the sauce if you don't have enough sauce. Does that make sense? Good. All right. So now the chicken, I beat it a little bit first. Go ahead. What is that? Yes?
Good. We're
Yeah,
good.
no, we
Sorry.
said that made sense. I'm trying to do chef.
Okay. And that's your first wife, right, Matt?
That's right. I'd be burning the food if it was me.
No. I want Alana to be in charge here. Alana, when I come over, I expect this.
Yeah.
I expect this.
You got
Now, got the wine here. This goes into here. You see that? Into my mouth. The chicken, I pounded it a little bit, as you saw, so it still has a thickness, but it should be able to cook all the way through pretty quickly. And that's the secret. You don't want, I would turn the pan a little bit. You just don't want it to be tough like shoe leather, especially the steak. I'm turning it over now. The worst thing you could do with this thing is kill a steak like this. All right, now, you see here I have a couple different kinds of olives and capers. I have the Castel Vetrano green olives from Sicily here. And I'm going to put that in the chicken now. I let that cook a little bit first. It looks Spanish, doesn't it, Adrian? And then I have capers. Put the capers in. And I think especially if you're doing chicken, it gives it a nice, a little distinct flavor. And that's it. You let it go a couple more minutes. Then I'm going to show you how we plate it. And you put some parsley on top of that. I have the parsley here, ready to go. I'll put a nice little chop on it. And let's see how our, there's a saying in Italy. In ogni zuppa, c'è prezzemolo. So when someone says to you, it's in every soup, there's parsley. So when someone says to you, you're like prezzemolo, that means you're everywhere. The English use the phrase more like, you're like water. You go everywhere. I'm going to put them in these.
Charlie, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Adrian.
Imagine that you can choose one soccer player to share this extraordinary dinner. Who is the soccer player that you choose?
I've given this to Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho has eaten this with me.
Soccer player, no coach.
Lothar Matthäus was the one who also ate this at my house. Giorgio Canaglia loved pizzaiola.
And one player that is actually playing.
Who would I give it to? I think this would be a nice one for Insigne, who's from Napoli. And this is a dish originated in Napoli, Insigne. Or I give it to my buddy Gattuso. He was a player and he's still coaching. He counts, right?
Nice.
But we could do a show really on every city, similar in Spain and France, and I'm sure many other countries. But where you could say, you go to Valencia and it's paella. You go to different cities, you have different things. This is something that grew out of Naples. And then I'm going to teach you guys. My buddy Benny said to me, "Teach me how to saute." Saute just means to jump in French, and in Italian you call it salto. So, what is it? Saute. Excuse me. My wife, who speaks French, said saute. But saltato is Paolo Maldini and Matt Cantos' favorite dish, risotto saltato. Next time, I'll teach you how to make risotto. My friends from Spain, is there any dish in Spain that you guys want me to make? Like in Italy, if you're a good chef, they tell you to make risotto. In France, if you're a good chef, they ask you to make a chicken. They say, roast the chicken. Literally, that's the test if you go to a fancy French restaurant. They want to know that you are astute. So in Italy, it's cooking risotto. Is there something in Spain that they ask people to cook that seems so simple but is difficult to do?
In England, they ask you to make toast.
Toast, and that.
I think a good
And that's
tortilla
quite
is not
good.
so easy to do in Spain, Charlie.
See, that's what I mean. Something like that. Now, here's the potatoes I did. All I did was boil those. I cut them into little rounds to make them look kind of pretty. I roasted them, and now you're ready to put together your whole dinner. Now, what do I do? As I said, I take parsley on top because the Italian flag must be represented in everything we cook. So it's red, white, and green. How's that? That's it. That's your dish. Let's see if we got
Bravo!
Bravo, chef.
Bravo.
How many people cooked along?
The Contos family did.
Yep.
And Grandma.
And
And
Grammy.
Grammy.
And baby.
Nice,
And
Grammy.
Italian
Nice.
grandmother. Or my Italian mother.
That is
Oh,
beautiful.
Katie, that looks good. Contos, those look good.
Here, this is ours right now.
Some cloves, Chairman.
I don't know if you
Oh,
guys can see
yummy.
that. I can't tell what the hell
Yeah,
is
I
on
missed that.
the bottom.
Oh, I'm looking at that. Like a grandma.
Yeah. I didn't do potatoes, but
Well, I have some spinach I had heated here. And that's it. Right into the hot pan. A little Malden sea salt.
Charlie, I have a question.
Yes.
How the important is the presentation of the different plates in the balance with the quality of the results of the meals?
I think that the big difference is taste comes first. I think taste comes first. I wouldn't fool around with it, but I say this to you that, sometimes you go into a pastry shop and everything looks amazing, but the pastries are a little too sweet or whatever. You know what I mean? To me, the balance needs to be more toward the taste side of things. Does that make sense? At least that's what I feel.
Smart.
And that's it. That's your thing. Caroline, give us a little taste. There's the potatoes. Like I said, you could make a pasta and just use that sauce for a first course if you wanted to. And then you got a chicken and you got a steak. And that's it.
You are
How's that?
Bravo, Chaz. Bravo.
Now, I can't thank you guys enough. It was a blast. I think what I want to do now is that's beautiful. That is beautiful. What I want to do is this was also Jordan would stop buying ragu. Molly, that's not your boy crying, is it?
Dahlia was
that was
laughing.
Dolly. She thought that was funny.
Yeah. You thought it was funny. Good. So, but I thought next time we'll pick a dish. You guys let Nick know what dish you want. I mean, I could make 2 kinds of risotto. I could make a paella. I could make pasta. I could make a matriciana, which I have the guanciale in the fridge here right now. I can make that for early next week if you guys want.
Is guanciale easy to get during
Guanciale is not going to be easy to get, but if you got pancetta, it'll work fine.
How about
The
bacon?
guanciale, yeah, but it can't be smoked. The guanciale is the jowl of the pig. You can get it in almost any Italian specialty store. Honestly, in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you should be able to get it pretty easily. They have great hams down in the South. And if you found a bacon that was just cured, but not smoked, that's what you want. That'll work. Molly, can I hear a yes from you? I'll show you guys the guanciale. It's actually, much to the horror of my vegan daughter, the actual jowl of the pig.
That's a killer.
Charlie, was
she's
that
outside.
pre-planned or is that pre-planned or is that jowl always available?
At CA, they asked us, what's always in your refrigerator? And I wrote guanciale. I love the thing, and you can make 2 or 3 different dishes. Alla amatriciana is, to me, spectacular, and then Caroline too. Bucatini alla amatriciana, it's called. Now, I have to say this to you, that the bucatini is called the traitor of all pastas, because a bucatini, I think I might have some here. I'm sure I do somewhere, but anyway, the bucatini is the long pasta with a hole in it. Buco means hole. And they say about it that you have to be really careful because it'll get mushy without giving you any warning. So you got to be careful how long you cook it for. And then secondly, if you manage to get that part right, you will undoubtedly spin some sauce on you when you're wrapping the spaghetti around because it's what I say spaghetti. We'll wrap the spaghetti around. It'll whack you a couple times in the chest with the sauce. But there also is a peachy, which is sort of the grandfather of it without sauce. So I can make that. I can make it. But I don't know if, the reason I did this is it's not pork. But if everyone's okay with it, I can make a matriciana one day. And then I could also make a Sunday sauce one day. And maybe we do that on a Friday. And everyone gets ready for Sunday, where you cook it for 8 hours on the stovetop, 6 hours on the stovetop. But I would suggest to you that I can make risotto, which is a mystery to some people. I could make risotto and risotto saltato, which is something that Matt's going to definitely vote for.
Oh yeah.
I can make a couple different pasta dishes. Cacio e pepe is just cheese. Literally cheese and pasta water.
Yes, please.
Yes,
that's my favorite dish.
Okay, so I can make, in one meal, I can make the guanciale, right? And I can make the cacio e pepe. This way, if you don't eat pork, you can make the cacio e pepe.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Danny,
Thanks,
are you still
Charlie.
there? Thank you.
I think he's gone.
Everyone happy? Any questions?
Thank you, Charlie.
Oh, this is amazing.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you, Charlie. Congratulations.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you. Love you
I
guys.
am
Thank
going.
you.
I am going to
Thanks,
buy
Charlie.
a hot dogs for.
Give Nick recommendations for next week.
All right.
Ciao.
That's amazing, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, guys. Charlie.